Our next movie is named An American Tale, and this is a feature-length animated adventure about a young mouse from Russia who sails with his family to America and then is blown overboard by a big storm and is washed ashore in a bottle and then scampers down the mean streets of New York City as an orphan, cold, friendless, hungry, and alone. This is the most downbeat children's movie since Return to Oz, which began, you may remember, with Dorothy being strapped down for electroshock therapy. What a wonderful, entertaining way for kids to go to the movies. That's what little kids like when they go to the movies, sentimentality and pathos. They don't like to laugh, we know that. They don't like to be excited. I think An American Tale is intended primarily for younger audiences.
Oh, what tipped you off?
Doesn't take a genius to figure that out.
That's for sure.
Usually when you see animated mice, it's not for the old folks.
The other thing that I hate is when they have in the pre-title sequences the names of the actors who are going to do the voices. That should be put at the end of the film. You know why? Because when I see Dom DeLuise playing that rat or whatever the hell he plays,
yeah.
He plays, I think, the Irish politician.
Right.
As soon as I see...
He plays the fat cat.
Okay,
right,
he plays a fat cat, whatever he plays. As soon as you see that, you think, oh, there's Dom DeLuise when you're listening. And I don't want to know that. I want to get into the magic of the movies. Don't tell me the names early.
Okay, and one more footnote that I have. I didn't like the song In America There Are No Cats.
That's right. No, in New York there are no, or in America there are no cats. What about all the people named Cats?
In The Wedding Planner, Jennifer Lopez has the Sandra Bullock role as Mary, who plans weddings as if they're the MTV Awards. Months of preparation, elaborate set designs, and even a team of headset-wearing assistants on the big day. But the lonely and heartbroken Mary can't get a date, so her nights are spent playing Scrabble with old people and watching TV alone. Apparently this movie takes place on the planet Yeah Right. The Wedding Planner pretends the audience has never seen a romantic comedy before, or for that matter, an old episode of Love American Style. The jokes are stale, the physical comedy falls flat, and the idea of the laid-back Matthew McConaughey as a skilled pediatrician is ludicrous. Now, Jennifer Lopez does have a lot of charm, but she's probably not the best choice for light farce, though I don't think there's an actress in the world who could have rescued this musty and dusty story.
I'm with you on this one. You know, I think Jennifer Lopez does a good job of seeming to be in love with Matthew McConaughey, but his mind seemed to be elsewhere, as if he were, I don't know, focusing on looking a little bit morose and, as you say, laid back. And if there's a scene that I never expected to see in a romantic comedy and hope never to see again, it's the one where he inadvertently gets the statue's genitals attached to his hand with super glue, and she tries to remove them with carbon tetrachloride that she carries in her purse.
And he gives it to her as a keepsake
and
of the moment,
and
she says thank you and puts it in her purse.
And that's as close as she's going to get to getting that kind of a gift from him in this movie. But apart from that, Star Trek V is so slow to get moving and so confused in its plotting that it's going to be of interest, I think, mainly to Trekkies, and then only so they can analyze what's wrong with it. The movie begins with the crew of the Starship Enterprise being called back to the ship on an emergency basis, which means, of course, we find them in the midst of their shore leave on Earth. And here are Kirk, Spock, and Bones on vacation in the single silliest scene in all of Star Trek history.
Row, row your boat gently down the stream, merrily, 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 lightly down the stream, merrily, 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 merrily.
Come on, Spock, why didn't you jump in?
I was trying to comprehend the meaning of the words.
And if you think they don't practice that until they get it right, you're wrong. That's Lawrence Luckinbill as the skyjacking Vulcan there. How old are you, 43? Yes. And you're saying things like Mr. Spock's Vulcan half-brother, and I'm talking about the Great Barrier at the center of the galaxy with the Garden of Eden behind it. Is this a job for adults? I don't know. Star Trek V is one of the most oddly constructed movies I've seen in a while, with its almost endless introductory scenes where they laboriously gather all of these people from all of their vacations and tell them they have to go on this mission. Then it leads up to a plot so confused that some of the characters are introduced and then hardly ever seen again, just in the background at a cocktail party.
I don't know where to begin, but let me try with, first of all, the presence of a tremendous amount of liquor in this movie. I was astonished to find that basically these guys are more than social drinkers. I'm talking about the Klingons, I'm talking about the crew of the Starship Enterprise.
The Vulcans?
Everyone's getting sloshed in this film. Maybe they've read the script.
Now, Also in theaters right now is The Wicker Man, with Nicolas Cage running around in a bear suit and screaming at everybody else, including, he should be screaming at his agent, his manager, and everybody else involved with this. This is a remake of a 1973 British cult classic. It wasn't screened for critics. It was dumped in theaters on Labor Day weekend, and I'm here to tell you why it sucks on a gargantuan level. In fact, it's so bad that it's almost a guilty pleasure thumbs up for its value as a cinematic car wreck, but I just can't do that to you, the home viewer. Poor Nicolas Cage seems absolutely lost in this howler of a story about a cop on an isolated island who's searching for a missing girl. Director Neil LaBute is a long way from scorching character studies like In the Company of Men and Your Friends and Neighbors. He needs to find his way back. And don't even get me started on some of the plot developments that are actually impossible, even within the insane universe of this movie. So I don't know if you can guess, but I'm actually giving this thumbs down.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that coming at all.
Thumbs up.
Just like I didn't see the end of the movie coming at all. But the movie was just, it made no sense. It made no sense at all.
It made no sense.
First of all, there were twins everywhere on this island, and they never explained the twins.
No.
There were just thousands and thousands of inexplicable plot points. The original movie was this kind of cult classic starring Britt Eklund that, you know, became very kind of hot after the fact. And I wondered if maybe LaBute was trying to be funny here, because he really has a very Hitchcockian approach to this. It's shot in a Hitchcock style. And I had an argument with somebody very close to me about whether the movie was actually trying to have this kind of wryness, but if he was trying to be campy, he should have taken it all the way over to camp.
There's a long final sequence in the movie that takes place partly in the spirit world, I guess, as Phoenix's wife comes back to life with all sorts of terrible supernatural repercussions. The kindest thing to say about Silent Tongue is that this movie is just plain goofy. It's an impossible story performed by thoroughly confused actors and directed by Sam Shepard as if the thought of cutting a single line of dialogue would be sacrilege. I have seen whole movies that seem shorter than the last half hour of this one. The story seems pointless on the surface and severely muddled underneath, and I swear you could look in the actors' eyes and see that they don't have a clue as to who their characters are supposed to be or why they act the way they do. This is a study in acting survival. These are good actors, and they are going to float, not sink, and nobody has given them any waterways.
Okay. You know, I like the part where you said it's set in the supernatural world, I guess, because I was guessing a lot in this picture. And, you know, I have a lot of pride. I don't like to, people may not know that film companies send out what they call press books, where they give sometimes a synopsis of stories. And I have a lot of pride. I don't like to look at those. I looked at this one. It's a mystifying picture. And and if there were individual sections where I thought, you know, that's good, that's interesting. No, I couldn't find a single part of this picture that I liked.
Our next movie is one during which I actually willed myself to sleep, lest I suffer unnecessarily through what is easily the worst film of this or any other year, The Brothers Solomon. Maybe this movie about two brothers played by Will Arnett and Will Forte trying to procreate for their comatose pop played by Lee Majors will even be viewed by European audiences and film students as an avant-garde drama. So willfully unfunny is the latest from the formerly very funny Bob Odenkirk. Lee Majors got off lucky. He's asleep during the whole dang movie, a fate awaiting anyone who dares to see this sucker. I give The Brothers Solomon up for adoption.
It's not even a movie. There should be another cat. I mean, Robert, I walked out of this film, and I wish I had fallen asleep, and I was surly, and I'm never surly. You know that. I mean, I was so angry at everybody involved in the making of this film. It's just astonishingly, these two guys are so creepy. There's some borderline weird homoerotic incest love thing between the two of them.
Right.
They think it's funny that they're mistaken for pedophiles in another scene. I mean, scene after scene falls so flat. There's racist stuff with the Shy McBride character where he's the big scary black man.
But all that politically incorrect stuff would have played really well on Mr. Show, because there was some sort of intelligence, wit, and context behind this. This is just surreally
it's
awful.
Amazing. You're right. It almost seems as if they're not trying. It's so lazy and limp and just quiet and drab and horrible. Am I mentioning at all that I didn't like this film? Are you getting that?
No, it's weird. I actually thought you liked it.